Everywhere I generally ask the people, tell me the name of the king who was most cruel, most anti-Hindu king. And obviously, everywhere people will give the answer, it was Aurangzeb. I listen to that. Then I tell them jocularly that once I had a chance to go to Pakistan. In Pakistan, also, I used to ask the people, tell me who has been the noblest, the greatest, the most religious king. And the answer again is the Aurangzeb. Now, Aurangzeb is again supposed to be one of the villain in chief in India. And his reflection is on the Muslim community today. And of course, many of you must have seen the brilliant book by Trushke on Aurangzeb, where she gives all the details of that. And we in Maharashtra have Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj, you may be knowing. He is very popular. He is definitely popular. But he is not popular because he was Hindu. He is popular because he was looking into the welfare of his peasants. Of course, kings are generally extracting lagan, taxation, and Shivaji was a bit considerate about the poor farmers, etc., etc. Of course, farmers' agitation is going on. Those who are not sensitive to that probably can learn something from Shivaji. They take the name of Shivaji, but they don't learn from Shivaji that Shivaji was very considerate to the problem of farmers. Anyway, so Shivaji is presented as an anti-Muslim king, and nothing can be farther from truth. Our great friend, late friend, who was killed for his rationalist idea, Govind Pansare, he was killed for his ideas on rationalism, and he has come out with a beautiful book, Who Was Shivaji? It was originally in Marathi, Shivaji Kon Hota, Shiva. Now it is translated into many languages. I wish that it goes to all the people to understand. And here there are two things which are shown that Shivaji was anti-Muslim. First is that his confrontation with Aurangzeb, that Shivaji wanted to establish a Hindu kingdom. Nothing can be farther from truth. The initial battles of Shivaji were against Hindu kings. Please note, initial battles of Shivaji were against Hindu kings. And of course, later on, when Aurangzeb also wanted to expand the empire, Aurangzeb and Shivaji confrontation was not direct. The person who was coming on behalf of Aurangzeb, his name was Raja Jai Singh. He had the title of Mirza. So this is one. And second, we see Shivaji and Afzal Khan. That, Shirin, I must tell you, Shirin and friends, I must tell you that 5 years ago, when the elections were to come, just before the election, there was a propaganda made. Propaganda, how it was made? That posters were put up, Shivaji killing Afzal Khan. Now that was provocative in itself. And after that, violence took place. And the party which uses this won the elections. See, so there is a very, very direct correlation between violence, propaganda, power, etc., etc. So the interesting thing is that this Shivaji and Afzal Khan battle, even now, Shivaji, when he was going, because Afzal Khan had put a condition that when you come, you should not have any armaments with you. Any armaments with you. And Shivaji's one colleague told him, how can you go without armament? Because Afzal Khan is taller than you. Afzal Khan is heftier than you. So take this secret weapon, iron claws, and that may be useful. Shivaji followed his advice, and the name of his advisor was Rustam-e-Jaman. Rustam-e-Jaman. Believe me, you, Shivaji's 12 generals were Muslims. There were many of them, Siddhi Sambal, Ibrahim Gardi, etc., etc., Daulat Khan, I don't remember all the names, but still today in Sangli, on every Shivaji Jayanti, there is a procession taken out with these 12 Muslim generals. Anyway, so Shivaji, and just before I go further to the story of Afzal Khan and Shivaji, Shivaji's chief advisor was Maulana Haidar Ali. And Shivaji was a great follower of one Sufi saint, Hajrat Baba. Hajrat Baba, Bahut Thorwal, that was a place. He was a great follower of that. Anyway, so when Shivaji went, he took this iron claws. Afzal Khan attacked him. He killed Afzal Khan with iron claws. And when Afzal Khan was dying, On behalf of Afzal Khan, his secretary took out the sword and tried to kill Shivaji. And the name of Afzal Khan's secretary was Krishnaji Bhaskar Kulkarni. Now, what a paradox of history. Shivaji is being assisted by Rustam-e-Jaman. Afzal Khan is being assisted by Krishnaji Bhaskar Kulkarni. And here we beat our breast, oh, Hindu versus Muslim, Hindu versus Muslim. There was nothing like that. And of course, here, this actually whole type of narrative, which is the base of today's major propaganda, comes from the British introduced communal historiography. For historians, it's an easy word. For a non-historian like me, it's a difficult word. It is simply means that looking at history through the religion of the king. And that's what they reduce it. Why they did it? Why they did it? Of course, every empire tries to rule on the basis of divide and rule. That's how James Mill's History of India, written in 1818, was on that basis. Eliot and Dawson's multi-volume History of India, similar basis. And this policy was applied much more strongly, particularly after the revolution of 1857, peasant revolution of 1857. Again, farmers' agitation is coming to my mind. 1857 primarily was a peasant revolt, okay, because a lot of taxation and other policies of the British were going against them. Fine. So 1857, if simply we recall, the whole spark of 1857 was lit by Mangal Pandey. 1857 was led by Bahadur Shah Zafar, and the associates of Bahadur Shah Zafar were Tatya Sahab Tope, Nana Sahab Peshwa, Jhansi Ki Rani. There are detailed descriptions which Udbhavana has published about 1857. Udbhavana is a very good publication house. Our friend has published a book, and there what you find, many Hindu battalions are led by a Muslim. Muslim battalions are led by Hindu. Hindu-Muslim distinction practically doesn't exist. And that's what shakes the power of the British Empire. So they intensify their divide and rule policy and using mainly history as a tool. History is the first tool. Then of course other tools go on getting added to that. So this is how the battles between Hindus and Muslim came. So here, of course, roughly I can say today the type of history which is the base of propaganda, which is disturbing, which is promoting hate, is mainly around communal historiography. And the people who took up the versions of communal historiography, Muslim League adjusted it according to their needs, Hindu Mahasabha RSS adjusted it according to their needs, and they both did not participate in the freedom movement.